Imagine you have the idea, a blog, a small business online. The words are ready, the logo is sketched. Then someone asks a simple question. Where does the website actually live? Suddenly, the idea meets a wall of invisible machinery. You need a database that can grow, a web server that stays online, software installed and configured, security rules, networking, storage, and a bill that may climb faster than the blog earns. That is the quiet crisis behind a lot of first websites. Technology can accelerate a business, but traditional hosting can demand a fortune in setup before a single reader arrives. The person with the great idea is not always the person who wants to become a systems administrator overnight. So the real question is not, is the cloud powerful? It is this: how much of that hidden machinery can someone else handle so you can focus on the thing you actually wanted to build? Behind every website is a computer somewhere, a server. For decades, that meant a physical box in a data center, expensive, slow to change, and mostly out of reach for a lone blogger. Then came a quieter invention, the virtual private server, or VPS. Think of it as a software-based slice of a bigger machine. You get computing resources for your task, but they are abstracted away from the physical metal underneath. You are renting a private room inside a skyscraper you never have to maintain. But not all virtual private servers treat you the same way. Two rival philosophies show up. On one side, managed VPS. The provider handles much of the infrastructure. You focus on what you are building, the blog, the app, the storefront. On the other side, unmanaged VPS. You get the raw power, and you also get the job of configuring it, installing software, applying updates, and keeping the lights on yourself. Choose unmanaged when you want total control. Choose managed when control is the problem, not the prize. For someone launching a first WordPress site, picking the wrong rival can mean weeks of setup, or a bill that never quite makes sense. Amazon Web Services answers that tension with something called Lightsail. Lightsail is a virtual private server designed to feel simple. Instead of assembling the stack piece by piece, you pick a template. That template might be a plain operating system if you want a blank canvas, or it might be a pre-configured application, WordPress for example, already waiting on the launch screen. The promise is almost disarming. Log into the console, choose what you need, click Create. You do not see the physical server, you see a guided interface. In the source's own framing, Lightsail sits on the managed, simplified side of the rivalry. General tasks like installation and configuration can be handled automatically. You are not writing IFRSTRUGATIONE, you are choosing from a short menu and sailing forward, which is, quite literally, how the product got its name. But a simplified interface always hides work. The interesting question is what that one click actually triggers behind the curtain. Here is the part that matters. When you press Create Instance, Lightsail does not just spin up a pretty dashboard. According to the overview, a whole chain of work starts at once. First, it launches the virtual machine, the ACTUL computer your site will run on. Second, it attaches solid-state drive storage, the fast disk where files and data live. Third, it manages IAM, identity and access management, so permissions are not left as an afterthought. Fourth, it creates security groups, the digital locks and gates that decide what traffic is allowed in. Fifth, it sets up DNS, the domain name system that turns a human-friendly name into an address machines can find. Sixth, it creates a static IP, a fixed address that does not wander away when the instance restarts. 6 steps, 1 button. For the blogger, that means the database, the server, the network rules, and the public address are no longer 6 separate projects. They arrive as a packaged outcome. Slow down on that idea. The magic is not that complexity vanished. The magic is that complexity was staged for you, in order, without asking you to become a network engineer first. Every simplification has a price. Lightsail's price is deliberate constraint. Compare it with other automatic services on Amazon Web Services, things like Lambda, OpsWorks, or Elastic Beanstalk. Those tools lean into elasticity and deep configuration. You can build stacks, tune layers, and often scale capacity as demand rises. Lightsail plays a different game. Capacity is not something you stretch endlessly with a slider. If you need more power, you change the plan. The resources adjust with the new bill. That is limited scaling by design, not a bug in the brochure. Cost is fixed, too. You pay a predictable monthly amount whether you use the box lightly or heavily, unlike services that meter every unit of usage. The overview even cites a subscription that may begin around $5 a month and may be free for the first month. Treat that as the article's example, not a forever price tag. Configuration control is thinner as well. Other services let you own the knobs. Lightsail offers almost nothing to configure in that deep sense. It works abstractly under the operating system. Background tasks run for you. You push buttons. The benefits the source lists follow from that trade. A simple interface, easier adaptability for newcomers, affordability, an environment powered by Amazon's broader backbone, and reliability that rarely forces you to replace the foundation. Plans for Windows and Linux package memory, processors, solid-state storage, and data transfer into neat rows. Here is the hook for later. What happens when the blog succeeds? When traffic grows past the plan you picked on day one? Simplicity that helped you launch can become the ceiling you bump into. So, can a beginner really get a site online without drowning in servers? The article walks through a WordPress launch like a short film of its own. Step 1. Log into the Amazon Management Console and open Lightsail. Step 2. Click Create Instance. The screen offers application choices. You are not staring at empty virtual hardware. You are looking at logos and names, and you pick WordPress. Next comes the plan. The source points to an option tied to a free tier month as a sensible first pick for someone testing the water. Prices on the selector climb through familiar steps. $5, $10, $20, $40, $80, each bundling more memory, more processor, more disk, more transfer. You choose what matches the idea, not what matches a spreadsheet of instance types. Then the zone. In the walkthrough, Virginia is selected automatically because it is the available option at that moment. Geography still matters in the cloud. Your virtual machine lives in a real region. Finally, you rename the instance so you can find it later among other projects, and you click Create. There is a wait, a status window. Progress that used to mean hours of terminal commands now means coffee while a console spinner turns. Nothing in that path asked the blogger to install MySQL by hand, open firewall ports from memory, or wire DNS from scratch. The menu did the ordering, the click did the labor. And then the window changes. The instance is marked successfully created, connection details, app year, open the site, and there it is, a living WordPress page greeting the world with the classic line, "Hello world." Remember the opening stakes, an idea, a database that needed scaling, a web server that might cost a fortune before a single post earned a cent. Those demands did not evaporate into mist. They were absorbed into a managed path. Virtual machine, storage, identity, security groups, DNS, static address, already run. For a first-time builder, that is the resolution that matters. The infrastructure did not disappear. It stopped blocking the doorway. You can write the post, you can change the theme, you can invite a reader. The server stack is no longer the main character of your week. Lightsail, in the article's words, is an automated service for creating instances with pre-installed software, with resources fixed to a plan so businesses can be started and managed without drowning in manual configuration. It is not only WordPress. The same idea extends to stacks like Node.js and LAMP, and to moving work into the cloud when you are ready. The blogger's crisis, idea ready, infrastructure not, has an answer on the screen. A public page, a working site. Hello world, indeed. But every easy road has a horizon. The same overview that celebrates Lightsail's automation is careful about its limits. This is not automatically scalable in the way Elastic Beanstalk or Lambda can be. When growth arrives, you change the plan, or you begin looking towards services that trade simplicity for deeper control and finer elasticity. That is not failure, that is graduation. Lightsail's job is to get you sailing with fixed, understandable resources. The cloud's wider ocean is still there when the fixed box no longer fits the storm. So the opening question returns with a sharper edge. How much complexity can stay hidden without taking away usefulness? For a first blog, a lot. For a business that outgrows its plan, less and less. The unresolved question the field keeps asking, and that every growing builder eventually faces, is this: when does the comfort of a simple, fixed platform stop being a gift and start being the thing you have to leave behind? Until that day, the click still works, the templates still wait, and the idea that once stalled on infrastructure can begin where it always should have, with the work you actually wanted to ship.